Hey guys, it's Daniel with Boss C351 Productions. Today we're working on the 2002 Dodge Grand Caravan again. The problem we're having now is the valve covers are leaking oil. Now I've cleaned the front of the engine really good because I had some work to do on it, but the back of the engine is still oily and greasy. It's so bad that it is running down onto the passenger side CV shaft and also on the new rack and pinion. It's also running down the oil pan and does show up on the driveway every once in a while as a drip. So let's get this thing started. Now the next thing you're going to have to do overall, I want to put overall on the nipple top at the end of this switch. Well, I'll show you what it looks like. Right now, leveled and installed. I think they look pretty darn good. Hello, I'm Daniel, and I want to rough this first. Work the way around. I have it set right now at 1080 out of the valve cover, and when it crap coming out of it, that's not worth paying the kind of money I did. Now the front valve cover is going to be easy to replace. You don't have anything in your way and you can easily get to the bolts. However, the back side is not that easy to do. All you're going to need is just a little bit of patience and a few tools to get to it. First, we're going to do the easy part. You want to remove this retainer, pop it out with the tool, and then we're going to remove the hose from the valve cover. We're also going to remove it from the air intake. Next, we're going to unbolt the valve cover. You're going to need a wobble socket or a universal joint to get the two top center bolts. The valve cover retains the bolts using some grommets, so you don't have to worry about dropping them. Now we remove the valve cover. Now looking closely, you can see where the valve cover has been leaking on the front. All along in this area, the valve cover was leaking. Also, it looks like it may have been compromised on this part as well. Now you're going to remove your bolts from the valve cover. You see it has a grommet on it. You're going to take the grommet off, and then you're going to install the new grommet the same way the old grommet came off. Now we want to clean the mating surface on the head with some kind of cleaner. I just use your basic SuperTech brake parts cleaner. We can clean it off, make sure we get a new gasket on and it seals. You also want to make sure you get your valve cover clean as well as the bolts. To reassemble, we're going to take our clean valve cover and we're going to place our gasket in the valve cover. Note the gasket is loose. Now we're going to take our bolt. You see it's got our new grommet on it and it has a sleeve on it right here. We're going to take that bolt and we're going to press it through the bolt hole, and that sleeve is going to go through and retain not only our bolt and the valve cover, but also the valve cover gasket and the valve cover. We're going to do that for all 8 bolts. Now we're going to reinstall the valve cover back on the engine. You see in my hand, I do have an extension, and I've got a 1/4-inch wobble and a 8mm socket, and I have wrapped it with tape not only to keep the flakes down but also to retain my socket and my wobble on the back side, so if it gets caught up or something, it won't easily come off and I won't have to fish it out. So let's go ahead and tighten our bolts down by hand first. Make sure they engage the thread properly. Now we're going to torque down our bolts with our torque wrench to 105 inch-pounds. Not foot-pounds, inch-pounds. We're going to go at a crisscross pattern. Make sure it goes down even. Some of you are probably going to say that, hey, you're using an extension, that's wrong. Yes, I am using an extension. It will get us in the ballpark. It also gets us access to the bolts that we could not get access directly to with the torque wrench. Also, I'm using a 3/8 drive torque wrench to torque with a 1/4-inch drive torque wrench. So there is some loss there, but not enough to worry about. It's just a valve cover. As long as it's torqued evenly, it should not leak. Let's do this one first because it's closer to the middle. Two top outer corner bolts are closer to the outside than the middle, so we're going to torque them last. Now that is how you install the valve cover, and up to this point this process is the same for the front and the back. However, to get to the back, that's a total different process altogether. Now to accomplish this, we're going to have to gain access in this area and in this area here, so we can reach in with our arms so we can take loose all the bolts on the valve cover on the inside. So what we're going to do is take our nut driver, take loose this clamp on the tube that goes to the intake. We're going to remove the air cleaner top. We're going to unhook this sensor here. And take the air cleaner top completely out. There's a tube right here going to the PCB back. We're going to hook it and we're going to turn it backwards this way. Now, depending how tall you are or short you are, is what you're going to do next. You want to either raise and put on jack stands the vehicle, or leave it where it is. If you're a tall person like me, or somewhat tall, 5'10", this particular next step depends on your comfort level. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take both arms and hands, run them in like this, and this is how you're going to get access to the valve cover. You have to lay like this on the vehicle with your wrench, taking each and every bolt loose from the valve cover until you get the valve cover out. Now I'm going to speed through this. I'm going to go ahead and get that done. Then I'm going to show you how to get the valve cover out. Okay, I have all 8 of the bolts loose now. It took me about 15 minutes. And I used this 1/4 inch contraption. I've got my 8mm. I got my universal joint. Got a 1/4 inch extension with a 1/4 inch ratchet. And 6 out of 8 of the bolts come out really easy. You can get to all of them easily. You may not be able to see them, but you can feel them and get to them. The 2 on the passenger side end you can actually see, and the 2 on the driver's side end you can see with a flashlight. But the 2 that are here are the 2 hardest to get in and to get out. But this is the configuration of your tool I suggest that you use, along with the tape to keep the wobbling, but also to keep it slightly firm so it doesn't go everywhere. Now to get the valve cover out, you have a power steering hose, a big power steering hose that runs right here all the way back. Then you have a braided harness down there. I'm going to grab the braided harness and try to move it over as far as you can. You're going to reach down and you're going to pull the valve cover up, and then you're going to pull the power steering hose over the PCB valve. Once you get it over the PCB valve, we're going to start inching the valve cover towards the firewall. It just takes some time and some effort. You can't see what you're doing. You have to do it blind, so it makes it twice as hard. Now I've got the valve cover against the back of the firewall. I'm going to pull it up over the power steering hose. And we're going to turn the face towards the front of the vehicle, and we're going to inch it around the throttle body, just like this. And it does come out. PCV valve and the valve cover. Now this is again a 2002 Dodge Grand Caravan. I performed this job on a 2005 Dodge Grand Caravan. You get it out the same, but there's a little bit of a difference in the valve cover. there's a plastic tube with the PCV valve inside, and a larger rubber tube goes over it to seal it so it will work. Also, on this particular van, this is a stamped steel valve cover. On the 05, it had a composite valve cover. Now I have wedged the valve cover back in on the back side of the engine. And what you want to do, make sure all your bolts are still where they're supposed to be, and then go in and finger tighten all the bolts that you can. It would help if you have a flashlight. Just begin to seat the bolts. It is imperative that you do not tighten any of them until you have them all started. And like I said, the two top bolts, they are by far the hardest to get to start and just to get to in general. Okay, I've got them finger tight. Next, what you want to do, if you want to use a torque wrench, you can. It makes it that much more difficult. But you otherwise take your ratchet, put them on the bolts, and then run them down. When it stops, give it about a quarter of another turn. That should be enough. Now that we have the valve cover bolts tight, we just need to reinstall everything. Don't forget to hook this sensor up on the back side of the air cleaner intake tube and lock the red tab. And this little retainer, if it's broken, just use a zip tie to secure this tube to the bracket. And that's how you replace the valve covers on the 2002 Dodge Grand Caravan. This is Daniel with Boss C351 Productions. I appreciate you watching my videos. If my videos helped you out any, please hit the like button and please subscribe to my channel. Also a reminder, look down in the description section and there should be links there to all the parts that I used, plus additional parts I used to fix other components on this van. Once again, I thank you for taking the time to watch my videos.